Welcome back, everyone, to Racing Revolution. This is 10-4 Broadcasting, sponsored by Admin Box, coming to you live here in Tennessee. I'm your host tonight, Patrick Morrison, and Kynan Jones is grabbing a snack real quick, and we are excited to bring you another fantastic night of racing, sponsored by Chapman Environmental Services. Last week, the challenge at Kansas was quite the battle. James Loveland stuck it out to the end and made it to winner's circle. He was then followed by Caleb Gilbert and Ray Lane in third place. But that is another night, and that race is in the past. Tonight brings our 9th race on the schedule, none other than the Bootem and Scootem 140. 140 laps around this just over half-mile track is sure to bring close racing and plenty of cautions here, Kynan. You might want to take note here. Only 4 sets of tires are allotted for these race teams. After spending a lot of time in the field with these drivers yesterday during practice, tire fall-off is unusually high. That right front tire abuse will be put to the maximum here, Kynan. And here at Nashville Fairgrounds, man, what are you looking to to get out of these drivers, and what angle would you kind of take to get this thing underway?
Early on, it may be a fairly large short track, but it's still a short track. It's gonna have a lot of cautions. Personally, from my experience here, there's always been some sort of big wreck. So the drivers might just want to take it easy, think about not getting in a wreck early on, and then damaging their car for the long run. So they're going to have to be careful, but also just saving that right front. That tire will wear very quickly just because of how much you've got to put into the wheel just to get it to hustle around this very short track.
Yeah, and that is one thing with this being such a short track. I mean, this is just over half a mile, and I'm really concerned about how well these Xfinity cars handle. You will notice as the guys get around the track, it's very rough. So you'll see actually coming out of turn 2, they're going to have a little bit of hop as they're coming down that backstretch. The car kind of almost bottoms out, and then you almost see the suspension unload, which is really, really bad for especially when you are trying to keep this thing under control. And not getting bound up there up in the front. But right there, we are here on our live screen. Justice Murphy goes ahead and takes the pole from Grant Thorpe tonight. James Loveland in 3rd, Robert Rader 4th, Blake Cook in the number 4 car in the 5th position, Trevor Earhart in 6th, Michael Bennett 7th, Nick Alves in 8th, Parker Johnson 9th, and Scott Negus in the 10th position. So really, a lot of drivers you're used to seeing up front, but ones that I'm not used to seeing here, Kynan. Brandon Richardson starting 11th. David Stanfield there in the 12th. We'll get to him here in a little bit in that 31 machine. Ted Rekich is in the 13th. Back there with Kevin Orlando in the 27 machine. Really, to see these guys so far back starting out is really unusual. Adam Bowden there in the 15th. Caleb Gilbert, Tay McDonald, Travis Gilbert, Albert Likens, and Daryl Johnson back there in the 20th position, and it's good to see a good round out of the vehicles here, being able to see how many cars we can get on the track. 20 cars on a short track here, Kynan. I mean, this to me right now, this is going to be a blast.
Well, it's a short track, so racing is going to be tight regardless, but the fairgrounds certainly encourages close racing, so it should be a lot of fun. 16 from back decided not to qualify. Maybe they want to be in the back, and if a wreck happens in front, then they have a bit more time to avoid it, but it's going to be a good night tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of these drivers getting stacked up and ready for this. I think we're just waiting on the 341 to get locked in. And, man, really, some of these drivers, man, unusual to see, Rekich and Kevin Orlando starting back here in the back in the 13th and 14th position. So very, very, interesting to see how these guys, how they fare here tonight, whether they, if they're able to work their way up. I mean, it's a short track. They're going to have plenty of opportunity. I'm just afraid of any kind of cautions or anything like that up in the front of really what these guys are going to do and how they're going to handle it. I believe there is a competition caution tonight here, Kynan, and that will be on lap 40. So if one happens at lap 25 or after, they will go ahead and nix that competition caution and just they're not even going to worry about it and keep this thing under green. But boy, man, they're really not. I don't think they're really going to have much to go here. I think they may give one warm-up lap here, Kynan. But this is Great time to give that little shout out to Chapman Environmental Services, proudly offering a broad spectrum regulatory compliance, permitting, field sampling services, and more. Visit ChapmanES.com. And how exciting is this? Coming down to the 9th race, we only have one more to season 1 here with the Racing Revolution, and then they are getting. I mean, these guys are already on the ball and looking at season 2 to make sure they keep these drivers kind of wrangled in and back on the track where they love to be. So kind of, I mean, I think we're gonna have a race on our hands, and this, you know, where these guys end up being at the end of the night is going to change this points race.
Yeah, after Raiders' disappointment and misfortune last week, it's opened the championship completely wide open, so grab your cotton candy because we're racing at the fairs.
Yeah, big time move there. Looks like Justice Murphy goes ahead and takes off as I got him up there in our vertical tinker. And we are getting underway. Grant Thorpe following behind. Robert Rader makes the quick move into the 3rd position with James Lovell in 4th and Trevor Earhart in the 5th position. So we'll have to definitely see how long this goes. These guys really single-filed out here pretty quick. And we'll have to see, you know, if you know, it looks like farther back in the field, some of these guys are starting to bunch up pretty good. But I think these guys are starting to calm down already. And we'll have to see if Loveland decides to, you know, kind of pick up the pace a little bit and start applying some pressure.
Yeah, it's great to see drivers just taking it nice and easy on these first couple laps, feel what the car is going to do. A couple drivers did get a little bit high. Scott Negus did get into the wall ever so slightly, but I don't see any damage to his car, so great to see the drivers just know it's a 140 lap race. It's going to be a long one, so just taking it easy early on.
And we are looking here. We're kind of rotating back to Parker Johnson here, who is in 7th position. He's already moved up 2 positions from where he started. Richardson, he's kind of worked his way to the 9th position. But these guys kind of definitely got a battle here, kind of. You're going to see kind of this wishy-washy move of really, you know, the kind of the give or take around here, you know, really where to go and things like that. But my biggest concern out of this entire night is whether, you know, these guys can hold on for as long as they do. With that right front tire.
In the wall.
Oh, somebody's in the wall?
The 14. Right as you were saying something about how long can the tire last.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Bennett there may have bent it a little bit. Hopefully not too bad. There are no fast repairs here tonight. I believe these guys have gone ahead and decided to go ahead and only do a fast repair when it comes to the super speedways, just because of the amount of damage those vehicles can get and really, you know, absolutely destroy somebody's race right off the bat. But we are going to go ahead and wind this back here to Michael Bennett here. And let's take a little peek with our 10-4 replay. What got our first caution out for the night? Just taking a look at that 14, wrapping around here. There's that bump. Yeah, and I just don't know if that bump unloaded that suspension like I was talking about before. So, I mean, even with, you know, rough track and you know, here it is kind of, and there we are. So, you know, really kind of starting to be a little bit of trouble there from the 14 car. I'm hoping he got it restarted. I just don't know the amount of damage. We're going to do a little ride along with that 14 machine of Michael Bennett. No, he got a good race a couple weeks ago, but this is not usual out of him. Let's go ahead and take that ride along here with that 14 machine. Yeah, as we can see there, he's just kind of battling that car a little bit. You do see how the thing's kind of hopping. It almost looks like a boat in the water, you know, up on the choppy waves there. But man, if this is what these guys are dealing with here tonight, this is going to be very, very difficult to see what they can go ahead and keep under control.
Yeah, I've driven from Super Late Model to Modifieds to Xfinity here. Every single one haven't exactly gone my way, but I have had some sort of pace. But you have to fight the wheel on exit of 2. It's constantly trying to rotate on you like that. But just with how the bumps are, especially on that low line, it's very easy just to unload the car. And we saw it unfortunately happen to Bennett. But being a short track, damage shouldn't come into effect too much. It's just how much RPMs has he lost, and if he hasn't lost that many, he should be able to stay fairly competitive still.
Yeah, as we're coming down with 1 to go here, Justice Murphy still holds the top position there in that 12 machine with Grant Thorpe, Robert Rader, James Lovell, and Trevor Earhart. I mean, so the top 5 really haven't changed. what I like seeing is Nick Alves there in that 24 machine starting to work his way on the outside and take a real quick peek into that top 5 here in a little bit. But right now, we got Justice Murphy going in and taking off. This track is too old for the restart zone, so these guys definitely get a quick shot of the old school style back what they're used to, so kind of at the discretion of the driver as we see these guys getting kind of really, ooh boy, they're getting stacked up there. It looks like Nick Alves going ahead and breaking into the top 5 there. Oh, but Trevor Earhart takes it back as we're going to rotate actually back to that battle here for the 5th position. Oh, we got somebody turned around there in the back. Looks like the 40 also got collected. Was that the 341 of Gilbert? Yeah, I think so.
29, the 8, and the 40 involved.
Alrighty, and unfortunately, we are on lap 12 out of 140, and we already have our second caution out. And this is to be expected. I mean, this is a tough track. I think some of these guys are, it's going to be hard to compete with. But we're going to come to our second caution of the night here, right there on the inside of that Shoney's 31. Let's see what that 341. Oh boy, it wasn't him. I am wrong. Who in the world was that?
The 29, Brendan Richardson.
The 29, Richardson. Oh my gosh. I am really sorry about that there, Gilbert. Man, I thought that was you. All right, we're gonna wind it back up for that car and kind of see what got him undone. Working his way on the outside wreckage there. Oh, it looked like may have been some contact there.
Wreckage hit a bump and drifted up ever so slightly whilst Richardson came down, and then it wasn't massive contact, but just because of how uneasy the car gets on exit, with how Richardson was kind of squeezing wreckage down low, they just come together, and then we saw what happens.
All right, and I'm going to kind of bring us here to that caution replay here and see if we can get something a little better, kind of see what we have. 29 comes down. Yeah, it looks like wreckage may have touched the yellow, and the two just met in one spot. Yeah, it looked like Richardson got a lot more of that turn than wreckage thought he had, and he thought he maybe had some more room. So it looks like, the 40 of Caleb Gilbert gets it. Oof, 39 Negus looks like he squeezes out of there. Stanfield catches some. Oh, man, Tay McDonald squeezes out of there. Yeah, and then the 8 grabs it. And that looks like as of Daryl Johnson. And right now, at this point in time, I'm showing on my ticker he is a lap down. So he may have suffered a little bit of damage there and maybe trying to get that thing squared away a little bit. But it is definitely easy to get down a lap here, when the track is so small. But really here, Kynan, you got to be thinking, it can't be that bad. Coming into something, a lap down, if we're ended up, getting tangled up in cautions early on here in the race, that you still have a chance. There's still time.
Yeah, if you're going to get involved in some sort of incident, it's better to get it done early on, just so then you can kind of recover towards the end of the race. But real unfortunate, but if you're going to go a lap down, now's the time to do it when there's no one else really to go a lap down.
Yeah, we are taking a peek here at the chopper view there. Oh, boy. As you see, Earhart kind of getting the back of leveling there in that 2 machine. So it looks like Justice Murphy going ahead and hanging out front. Doing okay right there. Boy, yeah, it's starting to be a battle. Looks like Robert Rader's kind of biding his time. And really a great thing to see is you're going to see kind of a different strategy by each driver. Whoa. As Grant Thorpe kind of jams him a little bit there. Robert Rader working his way on the outside, but he seems to do more of trying to triangulate the turn there, kind of.
Yeah, what that's going to do, even though it's going to wear the tire, just means that you can drive in a little bit deeper, then back up the mid corner, but then you can cut back down and then be able to get a good run onto the back straight or the front straight. So it's all about maximizing corner exit, but if you do it too much, you will burn up the tire.
Yeah, it's difficult to say what's the right way to go. I mean, we discussed this is a short track. It's going to be punishing on that right front tire, but triangulating the turn is just going to apply even more pressure to that tire. And I just don't know, after looking at practice of what these guys are doing after 30 laps or so. I mean, they're seeing, major fall off. I mean, they were saying only about a few percent, but it's like the car all of a sudden got super tight and then all of a sudden wouldn't rotate in the turn. So it's going to be a really hectic night for these guys up here in the top 5 to maintain position, as we can see them really working their way around here. Justice Murphy not really being challenged at this point, keeping a half a second lead up in front of Robert Rader and his Ford. But, oh man, we got another caution out.
Boy, it was in a big one, barely getting involved, the 00 and the 2.
Oof. All right, and we're going to bring up another caution replay here for you from 10-4. Sponsored by Admin Box. We appreciate you guys coming out and joining us here tonight in the Racing Revolution League. And what a fun league this is. We know as short tracks go along, what this entails. This is going to be, it's going to be a tumble. I mean, there's not going to be one single lap that these guys aren't battling back and forth. But we're going to drum up this replay, and I may have found here, Kynan, actually what may be the beginning of the issue here. Is we're going to take a look at the zero of wreckage closing in on that 4, and then it just started the accordion effect here. It looks like Cook got into the back of Wreckage there and kind of got him the rest of the way around, and Wreckage got his vehicle turned around, as we are here in our Goodyear blimp view, trying to get everything from what we saw here and kind of start taking away from these cautions. It's not, I would say it's not just learning the track, but it's got to be a learning experience of what to do and what not to do at this point, so early on in the race. As we're taking another look here, bang. Yeah, I'm not sure if the 4 got into the 00 or vice versa. But it looks like Negus got a good bite of that one. Boy, and that's gonna ruin his night. David Stanfield gets a massive shot there from the back. And I just don't know how many of these guys are going to be able to survive that kind of damage there, Kynan.
Yeah, it's a lot worse than I thought. I thought it was only Wreckage and the 2 that got involved. Didn't see all the other cars, but hopefully they're not damaged too badly and are able to recover. But just on how the wreck happened from my side, I just see Wreckage came down half a lane into the inside groove whilst the Ford drifted up ever so slightly, and it was kind of the same deal that Wreckage and the 29 of Richardson had, where just 2 lines converging and not enough space.
Yeah, and they're just going to have to be very careful. I mean, I know that's 2 cautions in a row here, and that 00 has been getting caught up. I'm not saying it is Ted Wreckage's fault. I know he did get kind of banned or suspended that one race there from the Pocono after that run here, and the last thing you want to do is get kicked from that last running we have coming up here next week for the season finale here at the Racing Revolution League. And man, you got to be thinking this. You got to be careful. You can't ruin your chances here at the end when you're doing so well and you're one of the top guys. But Kynan, this is short track racing. The damage these guys have sustained at this point, really, yes, he is missing the whole front clip, but we are short track racing, and I don't, you have to expect this sort of thing. I don't think there's going to be a single car out here that isn't going to have some sort of dent or bent fender. Justice Murphy taking off a massive shot there and going ahead and putting Robert Rader in his rearview mirror very quick.
Yeah, Rader just looks to not really needing to push too hard, preferring just to ride second just for now, but how long is he really going to want to be doing that for?
I don't think it would be a good idea to hang there out there in the second position there, kind of. It looks like Grant Thorpe pushing, giving him a massive shove there, coming out of the turn 4 earlier in that lap. The 77 machine, it looks like Loveland there in the 4th position. So Rader, I'm sure he's having trouble with some heat cycling of those tires, but here's a nice little move there toward the inside. Justice Murphy, the way he's been handling this track, this will be a piece of cake for him to stay out front and handle just a little bit different race line and maintain the lead.
Yeah, you see different lines on where drivers feel there's speed to be made, so it's interesting to see where they are making speed, but yet they're able to carry similar amounts of speed. So Taylor's Raider gets a really good run out of two and is going to look to the inside of three.
Oh man, as Robert Rader slides into the turn 3 right there, trying to triangulate that turn between 1 and 2, which gave him that massive run off the side. So if he's looking to lead some laps tonight, that is the way to do it. But Justice Murphy is not an easy one to give up there, as boy, Robert Rader gets a good bite out of that bump coming out of 2, which has now had him check up just a hair, but it doesn't seem to really affect him here, Kynan, as he moves his way up into the lead and goes ahead and takes it from Justice Murphy. And we're going to have to see if he decides to switch it up and give him another shot.
Looks to be a bit of a neck code bump, which then unsettled the 53. The 12 not really fighting it, though, and we're back on the yellow.
Oh no. Back under yellow, which puts Robert Rader up in the lead. Justice Murphy second, Grant Thorpe third, James Loveland fourth, Nick Alves up into the 5th position, Parker Johnson in the 6th position. I'm not sure. We just lost the driver here, and we'll have to find out who exactly came up with that one. As I see Parker Johnson here, he's in the 48. Looks like Kevin Orlando there. He's moved his way up. Good to see him moving in that 27 machine. We'll have to kind of take an eye and roll back here. Seeing that is after lap 25, and everybody coming down, this will most likely be the competition caution for the night, and really kind of a interesting tie-up here. Kynan, do you have any kind of a line on that caution back there, bud?
The 13 just decided to cut down a little bit too low, caught the apron, and it was a self-spin. No one else involved, so just the 13 involved.
Okay, so this won't be too bad, and that's really what you hate to see is a spin out like that. But you appreciate it at a point. Seeing what we have here as we kind of take a quick look here at the 13, catching that apron and getting spun around. Kevin Orlando getting out of the way. Okay, yeah, quick caution come out. We've seen sometimes they won't throw a caution for that, but lucky for him, they went ahead and did, and he's going to go ahead and get back on track. But I appreciate a caution like that. He was able to save the car, and the other drivers were saved, and it didn't cost the entire field, a massive amount of trouble here. But this will actually give some people a good chance to kind of square their car up, get some more of that optional done to help with the aerodynamics here, Kynan. You and I have talked before that short tracks aerodynamics doesn't really seem to matter. But, in a sense of, trying to save that right front tire, the much-needed aerodynamics and the wind speed hitting that right front tire can increase the wear more than you actually want it to.
Yeah, and not only that, but depending on how your car is damaged, it can also make you tighter. So if it's tighter than what you're normally used to, it either means you need to then back up your corners a little bit more just to help rotate it, or here's another big issue, is you might need to put in more steering lock just to try to get the car to turn, which then will burn the tire ups a lot more, especially on a fast track like this where you're constantly turning throughout the turn. So just getting away some of that damage if you're tight, and then it will just help the car for the long run, short run. It will just be good for the car in general.
Yeah, and this is a great time to give a shout-out to David Stanfield out there in the 31 machine. You'll see his paint scheme has changed to the 31 Shoney's vehicle here tonight, running that Ford. He's actually doing that as a throwback. I believe he says here for his dad here, as he was actually part of the pit crew for Jeff Green, David Green, and Nicky Formosa. Jeff Green went into the Busch Series after winning the track championship in his 92 car. So really nice to see how that came about and what he's doing to represent his dad, giving a little shout out there. He says, I believe here we may pull him into the booth, but from what he's saying here, I think even his dad went ahead and gave up racing for him and his sister. So nice to see him out here racing that 31 Shoney's machine and going ahead and putting a run on this. But we're going to rotate up here to, I'm sure, the battle for the lead. But man, as I say that, it looks like Daryl Johnson is around, bent up, and man, how's that thing still running?
He's been in like 3 wrecks now. I the car's still driving, so he's gonna most likely just tough it out and hopefully be able to recover some sort of points if
Wow.
more drama starts happening.
Yeah, and this may have actually been a little bit of a maneuver we've seen before. Is actually when you get to these short tracks, you got to be used to the bumping and banging. As we're gonna take a look here, our Michelin chopper view is actually gonna be one of our favorite views here at a short track. It's hard to get the right angle, but let's take a look here at the 8. Gets a great run there in the inside with Tay McDonald having to check up a little bit. But watch Justice Murphy here in the 12. Boop, right there. I think the 8 just didn't get on it enough, or Justice Murphy just had a heck of a lot more loaded up and just got the 8 turned around there. So, really, Daryl Johnson there in the, down pit road at this point in time as we're looking at the replay here. And it has sustained heavy damage. So we'll have to see if he's able to, to recover and stay back out here. I know some of these other guys, like I said, this is going to, man, that's tough. As we come back live, as it looks like he is down. He is a lap down now, and him and Stanfield will have to kind of shoot it out here for the lucky dog position and see if these guys are going to, what comes of this situation. As we're only on, I believe, lap 41 out of 140. I know we're staying on this driver here right now. Showing a little bit wrong on the ticker, but there we go. As we move up, Trevor Earhart, which we see he spun out. Back of the field, back up to the 11th position. So he's on the move here tonight. And I expect to see him battling back up for the 5th position here, kind of.
Yeah, we've seen in the past Earhart just, even if he doesn't have a good qualifying, he still manages to get a good result. Managed to win back in Pocono, so he does have pace. He did have that self spin, but luckily didn't pick up any damage. Maybe just destroyed the tires, but he ended up replacing them. So still a long race. A lot of drama has happened and probably will still happen. So as long as he can keep out of it, he should be able to fight his way back up to the front.
Yeah. And back to David Stanfield there. We kind of got back under green flag there a little sooner than I expected. But it turns out that 31 machine, that is actually a historical car for this Nashville track. Being able to come out here and kind of relive the old days, out here during the races. So this should be exciting. I always like seeing that. I believe Darlington actually had a kind of a blast from the past race where, the old paint schemes came out, or from the race car drivers themselves throwing their old paint schemes from when they started racing via go-kart or dirt racing or anything like that, being able to keep that under control. But right now, let's get back up to the front. Ted Rekich is in the lead up here alongside Robert Rader. Grant Thorpe, Tay McDonald, and Nick Alves there in the top 5. Ted Rekich really taking the restart of the season right there, launching off of the turn. We've seen that kind of really old school method of pace car, 4 tires are off the pavement, it's go time. He's not going to wait, and really a strong move there by that 00 car.
Yeah, he decided to pick the high line just to then be able to use that banking as we're back on the yellow, but using that banking to try accelerate the car easier whilst also keeping Raider on a bit more of a loose part of the track. So it's a move that I've done in VRA when on restarts just to try get a good jump, and he was able to do that, but unfortunate that wasn't able to maximize it just because of the caution.
All right, and we're getting to this replay here. A little Grant Thorpe getting loose there. As we get under here, wow, Tay McDonald taking a very, very high line there. And this is getting ready to create a 3-wide position, but looks like Kevin Orlando went ahead and decided to not do that, and it unfortunately pays for it as Tay McDonald catches the outside wall and collects Kevin Orlando up in that. Up in that accident. It seems only those 2 vehicles avoided that shot. As I'm going to roll it back, and I believe that was James Loveland that just barely avoided that that mess right there. And we're going to take a ride along with him and kind of see what he saw behind Justice Murphy and how this one came about as we are coming under our caution replay. Here we go. Kay McDonald clips the wall. Man. As he just narrowly misses that. Holy cow. But that does move Loveland up into the 6th position right now at this point. And we will have to see where he ends up at the end of the race. But we still have a lot more to go. Just under 100 laps. So really, this is going to be a battle for some of them here, kind of. Now I'm curious to see what, what comes of this. We got Ted Rekich, who we were talking about earlier, may have been involved in a lot of those cautions there, but is now leading. He's now up in the front, so I'm wondering if, he had an early pit stop there. Yeah, he did. He had an early pit stop on lap 23, while Robert Rader, Grant Thorpe, Nick Alves, and Justice Murphy, the rest of the top 5, they're all pit on lap 34. So that may be something to kind of take into account, is Ted Rekich pitting about 11 laps earlier and is now taking the lead. Now, I don't know if any of that, tire wear may take into account later on here in this run if we can get under a good green solid run there, Kynan. But, really, what's your take on this race so far?
Well, going into a short track, knew there was going to be some sort of chaos, but it's certainly been eventful. But we have also seen some very close racing, so we're not at the halfway mark yet, but I'm sure there's still plenty more to come. So viewers at home, don't click away just yet.
Oh, no. But, man, one thing I'm not seeing, anybody out there in the chat, man, you guys got to hit me up. Somebody come out there and say, hey, who you think your driver is, who you're rooting for here tonight, and let me know kind of what you think. I am curious to see what you guys think of this Bootem and Scootem 140 here at Nashville. Next week, we are looking at Phoenix International, 120 laps there as the season finale. And I've seen a lot of different takes on that track. A lot of guys seem to kind of cut that dog leg in half, and we will see how some of those drivers decide to handle that. But right now, this is Nashville Fairgrounds. Robert Rader up here in the 2nd position. Man, really kind of got caught off guard again there by Ted Rekich, getting a huge jump right there. But Nick Alves may be there to help him out, to try to help work around. But boy, these for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position here, kind of, these guys are starting to jam up and get real tight.
Yeah, the 12 looking to the inside of Loveland, just trying to elevate him up a little bit more, get in cleaner. He seems to be able to, going into one. Loveland up in the middle lane, able to just probably drop in behind as he does so. So just trying to not push anything, but still battles going on further back.
Yeah, and really some trouble up here in the front. Just looking to see if Robert Rader is able to just kind of keep this thing under control. I know that tire wear is going to get, kind of trying to keep this thing under control. Boy, man, is he triangulating that turn as I'm getting ready to say that there. Sorry about that. Kind of had a little stammer moment because I thought I saw the front end of his car actually drifting away from him. Not where, obviously not where you want to be, but so soon here, Kynan. We're about to run into lap traffic, so do you think Robert Rader may try to play this to his advantage?
Yeah, you've got to try to find every advantage that you can. So even if that's using a lap car, it's unfortunate if Rekich does have to, and we're back under caution. So this conversation is now irrelevant.
Man, because you really saw Robert Rader kind of setting Ted Rekich up there. If he was running into a lapped car, then you got a 50-50 shot of where that lapped car ends, and it's easier to push somebody up the track, normally than somebody pushing you down the track. It is, like I said, it is that 50-50 shot of how it ends up and where that becomes a problem. But, I'm not 100% sure what exactly happened here to cause this caution. Let's take a look. I believe it looks like the number 4 car may be some trouble, but we are going to go ahead and watch it together and see what exactly happens here as we get up in that blimp view. Let's take another look at a 10-4 replay. wreck here, and let's see what happens. Let's see if... Ooh, Parker Johnson. Ooh! I had a problem like that just a couple weeks ago. Maybe somebody turned a little early for that turn, and they didn't expect it. Boy. Looks like also Travis Gilbert, I believe, got a good bite of that one, too. That's going to definitely cost Travis Gilbert there a little bit in that 341 Toyota. I know it's kind of hard to see from this chopper view, but it may be our best shot of who catches that one. What I want to find is I want to find Albert Likens in that 16 machine, and let's see what he saw at this point, you know, kind of coming up on this. As we get inside the cockpit of the number 16 car, let's see what he sees. Big mess. Everything's up high. Oh no! Back down. Alright, sounds like the engine's still running good there, Kynan, so we'll have to see, you know, any kind of damage there he may have on that right front. Yeah, he's got picked up massive damage there. Boy, he's not gonna be happy about that. Took the whole entire front clip off of him.
Yeah, that was real unfortunate. Just carrying a bit too much speed in and not being able to really be able to do anything there. Just having the car in the middle of the track like that. Nothing really any driver could do, but that is real unfortunate to suffer that much damage. But
yeah,
at least it wasn't a full head-on, because then the engine would most likely be completely gone.
Yeah. And hey, look at that. We got a chatter out there. Stella. Hey, sorry, still here. Trying to keep up with all these spins. It's making her dizzy. I think some of these drivers are thinking the same thing. Caleb Gilbert there, I mean, look at his car. He is bent up pretty bad in that 40 machine. So, really, that's going to affect the way he turns. Boy, even look at that. Even the butt end of his car is missing. So, massive damage on that machine. I believe we have, let's see how Tay McDonald, he's ended up in some trouble there. Stanfield, I know he's ended up in some trouble, but it looks like that car is still mobile and surviving. I believe Likens, he is, yeah, he caught that right front, and I don't know if he got the meatball flag for that one. Let's check out Cook. Yep, another front end missing there. Wow, yeah, and really we got a lot of, kind of a lot of wrecked up cars here so early in the race.
Yeah, it seems like there may be a little front bumper gremlin going around, so hopefully someone can keep their front bumper, but Wreckage getting another very good restart.
Yes, he did, and he is off and away, diving into turn one, kind of taking off away from these other guys as we get our producer to kind of open his eyes there a little bit and zoom out so you can see exactly what's happening here. Grant Thorpe working his way, got in front of Robert Rader. We'll have to see if any of these guys, no one has seemed to pit yet out of the top 10 so far to get, really any kind of an advantage here up in the front. But we are running into a lot of caution laps here, Kynan, and I don't know if any of, if any kind of a tire strategy, if the four that they do have will work out for them here in the end. But I figure if we get some solid green flag laps, the strategy is definitely going to have to change.
Yeah, right now, for me, strategy would just depict try have some sort of good rubber, but also having track position, especially track position in particular. If you can just position your car to be safe from wrecks, it'll go a long way. But for looking to he's got a little bit loose on exit of 2, which has just allowed Wreckage to be able to keep on his outside, fighting in 3 and 4 for the lead. Raider catches the apron ever so slightly. Al's going to capitalize on it, putting his car to the outside. Raider drifting up, no contact, but good old hard racing.
Yeah, as we move to the Michelin chopper view here, Robert Raider kind of dialing it back here a little bit, is actually trying to battle to stay here almost in the 4th position. Justice Murphy, we've seen him give a little nudge here and there to let people know his 12 Chevrolet is in that lane, and he is not going to give it up. Robert Raider not able to triangulate the turns like we've seen before, so I'm wondering if any kind of tire fall off is going to be a problem. As we go 3 wide here into turn 3 and 4, it looks like Ted Wreckage got way too fast into that turn, which is really allow Justice Murphy and now James Loveland to go ahead and work around him. So now Loveland works his way up into the 5th position and takes our previous leader, Ted Rekich, in a matter of 3 laps, gone ahead and moved him out of the top 5. So we see here a lot of short track racing. This is what's going to happen. But Grant Thorpe, let's rotate up to our leader right now. He is right now about a second off of the off of 2nd place, which is really starting to put the fear into some of these drivers that if there's no caution, he's pulling away.
Yeah, when you see a car starting to pull away like that, you try think, okay, what am I doing wrong? How can I try getting a little bit closer? But Thorpe just having that confidence to be able to take it a lot quicker around here, but is that going to come to haunt him if we're back under yellow? Right as I was about to say something about a potential long green flag run.
Yeah, and I was just getting ready to rotate back to the Travis and Caleb Gilbert here in the 40 and the 341 machine. Those guys were battling around there pretty well, but I'm curious to see who ended up in this mix-up here. If any of this is coming to haunt some of these other drivers here, what in the world is going on?
Not sure if my eyes were just deceiving me, but I could have sworn that the pace car was just drifting on pit exit. Even the pace car's having fun out there tonight.
Yeah. I'm not sure what brought out our caution here tonight.
Keep an eye out, but don't see anything just yet.
Alrighty, and as we go and check out for this, we are going to go ahead and move this thing to one of our... And we will be right back and try to see if we can find exactly what caused this lap 70 caution. Alrighty, and I get back just in time. It looks like Daryl Johnson may have gotten loose in that 8 machine, and we noticed that self-spin. Nobody else caught up on that, but this may be one of those. He's got a massive amount of damage on the front end of that car, so he may be having a serious aerodynamic issue. As you can see, that hood kind of flopping around there a little bit. He may have to head down pit road, have them kind of clamp that thing down again. And, be able to resecure some of these things that they have going on there. But it looks like his vehicle is still mobile at this point. And I see at this point, really quick, he decided not to opera pit, but he is in pit now. And we are back live as he is scrambling to get out there before the pace car. And I would probably assume he is going to, yeah, that may have been, depending on his exit there, that may send him an EOL toward the back. Unsure at this time, but it looks like that 8 machine is back out on the track. Let's see where Kevin Orlando is. We haven't talked a bunch about him. He has broken into the top 10, 5 spots up from where he started. Good to see him moving there, but really a lot of lapped cars here. I think Ted Rekich is fighting his way through the lapped cars there to get lined up in the 11th position. But I think Ted Rekich on lap 73 went ahead and pit, so really a good move by him. Right now, who didn't pit was Travis Gilbert. He pit on lap 57 and is now our race leader, so we're going to see that 341 try to pull away. Boy, is that's going to be tight, as he's going to have, really Justice Murphy, Nick Alves, and Robert Rader behind him, as these guys are on a lot fresher tires than he is, so this is going to be some trouble here for him, of Travis Gilbert in that Toyota machine.
Well, luckily, a caution did come out, so that's going to help Gilbert. But just going to be interesting to see if he now opts the pit or stay out and keep the track position, because now if he pits, he didn't pit with everyone else, that's going to cycle him all the way to the back. So it's going to be interesting, but having that track position will also be very helpful, but just how much is the tires going to give him?
Man, that kind of stinks as we are back under another caution here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And kind of I'm curious to see, this the Bootem and Scootem. I'm ready to see it a little bit here. I know these guys are chomping at the bit to get going here, but I just don't know if any of this is starting to become a problem for any of this, as I'm not sure what brought out that caution. I see the 16 look like he actually net coded out. I'm not going to show you guys that of Albert Likens there, and I don't know if that's what caused some of the issue. Don't think so. Kynan, you got anything for me there, bud?
Right now, I believe just because of how tight of a track it is, maybe him being basically stopped on pit exit, despite being on the apron, it's entirely possible that's what has brought out the caution. I don't know why my bird is going ballistic. Probably just as annoyed that wasn't able to really see what the tires were going to do, but I don't see anyone stopped or anything, so my best guess is car basically stopped on the apron, trying to do the right thing, but just unfortunate.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and rotate back here. Up here in the front, and this will give some of these other guys a good chance to, man, really to get this thing back under control. A little shout out there to Trevor Earhart in that 13 machine. We did see him get caught up in one of those wrecks earlier. He will be out for the night. So Earhart there placing in the 19th position at this point, 13 laps down, unless the 16 machine can go ahead and get this thing back under control and moving in the right direction. Albert Likens may be able to go ahead and stay out here and try to get some of count those laps down in case somebody else ends up having to take it to the garage. But great to see him still putting some laps down here at the track in that 16 Ford machine he is running out there. Really, we're coming down here with 60 to go. And I know some of these guys have got to be pretty excited about, getting to Phoenix. You just got to get past this one first.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough night. Even though we are now past halfway mark, it's still, we've only barely just gone past the halfway mark, so it's still a lot of racing left to go, but going to be good racing as well. And then we're off to Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
Then we get a bit of a break, but then it's all back to hard work and with season 2.
Oh, yeah. But we're going to go ahead and give you the top run of the top 10 right now. Travis Gilbert in the 341 machine leading this one so far. Justice Murphy going ahead and taking that inside line. Nick Alves, Robert Rader, Parker Johnson, James Loveland, Brandon Richardson in the 7th position, Caleb Gilbert 8th, Kevin Orlando in 9th, and Ted Rekich back up into the 10th position. So really, you're going to start seeing these guys having to push and make their way around the track here. Robert Rader going to have to hold his line to get back out in front, but really starting this already single file up here in the front, and this seems to be working for him. Has kind of wait it out and give it a shot later on.
Yeah, we've seen in the past multiple times Raider just taking it easy, trying to think about it for the long run, but Gilbert really struggling on those old tires. Is going to get past and fall back down to 3rd, but managed to lead a couple laps and get a feel for what the tires are going to be like on a longer run compared to new tires. So even though it's going to be hard to really fight and hold on to positions, at least he's now gaining that confidence on old tires if needed.
Yeah, and we're kind of taking a look here. Oh, is that 40 car's getting loose? As Caleb Gilbert had to make a massive checkup. Hold on. David Stanfield looks like he caught that one. And I think that was the only other car that guy ended up getting caught up in that one. Man, just got a little too hot into that turn there. He did pit on lap 71 with most of these other drivers, and he is, man, that kind of stinks for Caleb Gilbert in that 41 machine. He has been doing really well the past couple of races getting up front, and this one just seems to be getting the best of him at this point in time. But we're going to go ahead and roll this one back for a 10-4 broadcast caution replay. let's go ahead and get this thing underway. We've seen a few of these here tonight, so you guys know the drill. 40 machine gets in there. Man. Yeah, just gets loose. Everything's okay. And yeah, I think just that drift around down the track a little bit just caught him off guard. Stella out there in the chat. We are not going for a new record. I assure you of that. Here at 10-4 Broadcasting, Haas, the High Octane Sim Series actually holds that for 32 cautions in one race. They swore up and down and promised me that would never happen again because it was painful for some of the viewers, if not the drivers themselves. Kynan, you were there with me that night, and I believe that was almost a 3.5-hour race for those guys keeping, trying to get just some green flag laps under their belt. But really, it was a head pounder.
Yeah, it was, but it's just in those moments where you have a lot of the same incident, just self-spins. Why is it happening? So it's unfortunate. Earhart has taken it to the pits and is going to have his night over, but if you can learn what other drivers are doing wrong, Gilbert is now going to see how he was just had too much rear brake, probably going to move the brakes to the front of the car just to, even though it's going to be a bit slower, it's not going to be as dangerous under braking.
Yeah, and I would like to give a quick little shout out to some of our sponsors out there for this broadcast. Admin Box here for 10-4 Broadcasting, and as for the Racing Revolution League, Environmental Services by Chapman, one of their main sponsors here. You'll see them also up on the windshield of every single one of these cars out here, so they really support this league and show their love and dedication for them, as well as Butt Kicker. Feel what you've been missing. Great audio systems, and go ahead and give them a check out. Man, really, this is going to be such a tumble here, getting to the last of this race as we're coming down with 1 to go. Pace light car laps are off. Justice Murphy has gone ahead, back up front, and retained the lead. And this is something we've seen before out of these this Ford and the Chevy up front. Really, it's kind of the battle between the 12 and the 53 here tonight is really what I'm curious to see. It works great points run for Robert Rader, but Justice Murphy, can he go ahead and secure the win here tonight? As it looks like we got a little bit of a mix-up there, I believe, with the 31 machine of David Stanfield. I don't know if he was in the wrong spot or if or if maybe something happened. He may have gotten black flagged, or it slung him around, or unsure at this point. I thought he would have had the lucky dog around and been back on the lead lap, but it seems not that way at this point.
I've had instances in the past where it's, even in this car on this track, where it's just told me to pass people, but then it's also telling me to let people by. So, bit of iRacing miscommunication, I'd say, but Justice Murphy getting back under green, not as strong as Wreckage on the restarts on the low line, but still able to get a good jump, not being able to really fight for him in turn 1.
Yeah, no harm, no foul there on that restart there. These guys are getting a good zip around this track. Looks like Robert Rader going ahead and taking that second place and going to let his tires heat up and try to see if he can run Justice Murphy down. He's only about half a second off the rear bumper of that 12 machine. But, we've seen him do this before. He kind of camps out here a little bit, hangs out, but, let the car come to him instead of him pushing it faster than it needs to go. But it's nice seeing, some of these cars move around. Justice Murphy up in the front position, leading this race right now. Robert Rader, James Loveland has moved his way into third. Nick Alves into the 4th position. Ted Wreckage there in the 5th. In the 00 there. So he moved from the 10th and the 11th position, and now he's up in the top 5 again. So he's definitely a fast one here tonight. So, boy, man, I think we're back under caution again.
You would be correct with that. That's all judgment.
Dang.
Yeah. Looks to be Scott Negus.
We're going to go to another caution replay here. Let's see what happened. Scott Negus here in that 39 Budweiser car. Let's see. All right, Michelin Chopper View. Show me what we got here. Take a little look at the 8. Ooh. All right. Well, a little bit to take away from that one, kind of, as we're watching the replay here. You know, really, I hate to point fingers, but that one may have, I'm not sure. That 8 may have come down, seeing the 40 kind of, you know, disappearing out of his rear view and into the side, where only the spotter can see there. But, you know, it's really kind of, seeing what we got going on here. 8 drifts up the track pretty bad. Caleb Gilbert doing a good job trying to stay around him. If there was any sort of net code on the right rear of that bumper to push the 8 down, Neeg was just in the wrong place, wrong time at that point, and it kind of got them spun around. Man.
Yeah, just looked like the 8 didn't expect Negus to be there. Real unfortunate, but luckily both drivers didn't really sustain too much extra damage. More so just little bits of contact.
Man, kind of a bummer there to see that one end up that way for him. Man, yeah, it looks like Daryl Johnson has gone ahead and taken it down pit road. He is sitting in pit road now. Caleb Gilbert, David Stanfield, and Tay McDonald, they have all gone ahead and decided to pit as well. Fix up some more of that car because, you know, without that front bumper, this thing's going to be dragging and kind of coin a term, plowing into the turn and really applying more pressure to that right front tire was not what you want. But, you know, looking at Tay McDonald's car, you know, he at least still has a front bumper. So this is, you know, he's still got a chance. But, you know, they're going to have to hammer this out some more if we get back under caution for another lap.
Yeah, being one of the very few drivers that still has their front bumper, he might end up using it a little bit later on when the racing really starts heating up. You think it was good now, just you wait till the end where things really start to heat up.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how some of these vehicles get back underway. We do have the top 15 are still on the lead lap here. It looks like 16, 17, 18 are a lap down. Likens there in the 16. He is still 19 down, which now puts Earhart in the 20th position in the final one to get this underway. You can see there pace car lights are off, so let's go ahead and get that camera turned facing the other way. Back up to these race leaders who look at them. Not very many scratches, bumps, and bangs, just a little rubber sticking to the sides, but, you know, with less than just about 40 laps to go here, and I expect to see a lot more bumping and banging out of these cars. And let's see how Robert Rader handles a Justice Murphy restart here. Justice Murphy goes ahead and makes a good move there. Going ahead and staying out front and really starting the battle soon is Loveland here in the 0-2. Machine on the inside of Nick Alves there, boys. You kind of see him riding up the track here. Let's go ahead and get to that Michelin Chopper view that we like so very, very much there. We see a little Parker Johnson wiggle there from the 48. And we'll have to see, boy, man, Loveland drives it into that turn hard as he gets pushing through turn 2, aiming for 3. But, man, side-by-side racing out of the 0-2 and the 24. And I believe we're under another caution here. Not good.
Not good, but short track racing, it's going to be more likely to have cautions. It's unfortunate, but we have seen really good racing from this league also back at Dover when the entire race without a single caution. So you just will have these sorts of races where it's hard to get into a rhythm. And with this track in particular, I've found that it's really difficult to really be able to keep it clean for a long period of time with how aggressive you need to get into the turns and with then how loose it can get on exit.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look here. And I believe out there. Somebody 7, Kevin Orlando, I believe, got caught up in some of this. So let's go ahead and take another 10-4 replay caution. Look here at the 27 and see exactly what happened here. Ooh, 39 clips the wall. So it looks like Negus gets him and Kevin Orlando. Yeah, and his night may be done. Ooh, car still moves. All right, we'll see how that suspension looks on his vehicle there. Wow. Alright, looks like all 4 tires are still connected. We'll have to see how much damage that vehicle sustained there. Kind of some trouble there for him. Wow, not good on that one. As we get this thing back underway.
The little bumper gremlin has now claimed Orlando's bumper. Whose bumper is it going to claim next? That little gremlin?
I see what you're getting at there as we're looking at that 27 machine getting around. We have 37 laps to go left in this race. I'm curious to see, how much longer this can go on from here. Not sure, really what we're looking into and how this is going to, man. How this is going to come about here, kind of. I want to see some, a lot of green flag racing. I want to see these guys, kind of push it to the edge. But we are having a little bit of trouble getting that thing underway. It looks like that 27 machine is up front. As we are seeing if I can find one of our drivers here. Trying to see if I can find David Stanfield out there. See if he's got a chance to come out here and chat with us in here in the booth. But we are 1 to go right now. And right now I think it would probably be safe to go ahead and let him race. If we come under another caution, we'll then have a little chat with him there. As we can see, Justice Murphy, Robert Rader up in that front line, seems to really be working out for him. I would question, at this point, with Robert Rader here, what is his strategy to get out in front of that 12 machine that seems just to be, just edging him out and getting away from him here. As that restart, once again, look at that. Man, gets that pull, shooting into that turn. So, man, really, you're going to see a heck of a battle getting these guys under, where can they be and what can you change to really see if you can slow Justice Murphy down, as really the battle back here for 3rd and 4th between Alves and Loveland here still hanging out. I'm curious, we'll have to see here kind of if that 24 machine can keep up.
Really struggling on exit, getting loose, so he's being able to barely keep just on the inside of the O2, as the O2 is able to carry that extra momentum on the outside and clear him. But just scrolling up towards the front, Raider looking all over the back of the 12, trying to find any way past.
That he is, and we're going to move to that cockpit view there, kind of, and we're going to slide in behind Robert Raider, looking at him triangulate that turn, kind of wrangle that thing in. Does he have the fender on him? Just barely. Oh, man, as he's riding up that track there, kind of. So really, what, is this the right way to go about this?
Right now, he was going to be using a lot of tire, but we've seen how good of a driver Raider is. He knows what he's going to be doing, thinking that he can go quicker in the clean air. So, yeah, he's going to be using up a little bit tire now, but if he can get into the lead and then control it, but then if you do that, then if you pit, then no one else does, then you go to the back, wreck happens, you're involved. So it's a lot going on, but Raider just not being able to find a way past the 12.
Yeah, and Justice Murphy's spotter is doing a fantastic job tonight here. Really what we are seeing is Robert Raider, putting the moves here on Justice Murphy, but Justice is able to keep just barely inches off the front of that Ford machine that is really putting the pressure on and starting to do nothing but fill up that rear view mirror, as we see Robert Raider looking to triangulate that turn just one more time, see if he can get enough speed coming out of that turn. He seems to have it, but man, that 12 machine just goes up there and blocks him out of it. But this has got, I would assume, Kynan, this has got to end here pretty soon. Robert Rader, I'm sure he's got another set of tires in there he can use, but we've only got 27 laps to go, and we are under caution.
That we are. Raider is most likely going to pit this time, maybe take right tires only. If his car feels good, he's going to maybe risk it, but you've got to also think about the points position. Yes, it would be nice to take the win, but you don't want to risk throwing it away, and especially with how last week went, he just needs to pick up a little bit of extra points now, then set up himself up nicely for the final race next week at Phoenix.
Yeah, we're going to take a look here at this 10-4 replay and see exactly what happened here. Once again, we appreciate you joining us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, sponsored by Admin Box, and we're going to go ahead and let's roll out another caution replay here. I believe David Stanfield in the 31 machine may be the culprit in this one, but we are going to take a peek and let's see what we see. Oh. Whoa, that was kind of weird. Little him and Caleb Gilbert kind of touched there, and then you kind of see the back end of that car kind of hop there, kind of.
Yeah, just real unfortunate. Got to be careful when getting into the turns. You drive it in hard, but it's very easy just to drift up the track, and when there's a car above you, got to hope that they also don't come down, so it's not easy getting around. That could be why we've seen so many wrecks, but real unfortunate. Luckily didn't collect too many cars, though.
All right, let's take a look at Kevin Orlando here. What he sees, these two kind of collecting each other. Doink. Man, yeah, you just see how that car kind of pops up on the butt end of us right there, and that's not what you want to see there, boy. And we were just getting ready to pull David Stanfield into the booth here, but as long as the radio chatter is looking okay, we might do it. I mean, I'll be probably a little torqued at this point, seeing what happened there on that last one. As some of these guys are actually deciding not to pit. No, Kevin Orlando is not here, as we're taking a look at him, but he pit on lap 103, so not much there. But drivers who did stay out. Looks like we got man, let's see. Justice Murphy stayed out, Grant Thorpe stayed out, Tay McDonald stayed out, Negus, Blake Cook, and Kevin Orlando in the 27. Have gone ahead and stayed out. Everyone else is pit at lap 116. So this is going to be quite the brawl here in the Racing Revolution League. I'm interested to see what some of these guys can and cannot do, to kind of dig themselves out of this hole here.
Only Tim McDonald up 14 positions from where he started, so going to be interesting. And last pit on lap 103, while Justice Murphy pitted on lap 71, Grant Thorpe lap 96, so a lot of different strategies going on right now.
Yeah, they may be kind of gambling on another caution here, but right now Justice Murphy has a very fast car. The key is when you got Robert Rader back there in the 7th position, he's going to have to really put the moves on to get back up front, but he's got Loveland on the outside of him, but there they go. Justice Murphy taking off with Grant Thorpe in 2nd. Looks like Tay McDonald in 3rd, Scott Negus 4th. Kevin Orlando's moved his way up into the 5th position without that bumper, so really working out okay for him, but he is under fire right now. There here in the backfields, looks like Loveland's starting to give him a little push, and we are 3 wide. Back here with Nick Alves. Oh, man. As we got another caution rolling out. So, for some of these guys up in the front, this may have worked out for some of them. And we're going to roll back and see what happened there again to see, who got tied up in that. Hopefully, this will be a quick one because I want to have a chat with David Stanfield. Yes, it is. And I have found it. I found it. I found it. All right, Michelin Chopper, do your best. Here we are. All right, it looks like David Stanfield there on the outside, and we're going to take a look. So we see Adam Bowden there in the kind of that tealish car there. Check the two vehicles right there in front of him as we come up. Look, a little bit of rub there from Gilbert. Sends Michael Bennett around in that 14 and kind of really ruins his night again because he was working his way back up there to stay alive. But this is going to slam him back into the 16th position, and we'll have to see how that works out for him. But right now, I want David Stanfield. Let's see if we can get him. David Stanfield, you were on. You got a copy on us there, brother? Who knew?
Who are you talking with?
There he is. That should be David Stanfield.
Yes, sir.
There he is. Hey, bud. We have got you up on the screen here right now in that 31 machine. I know we talked a little bit earlier about that Shoney's vehicle. You want to tell us a little bit about that Nashville throwback you got going on there?
Oh, man, it's a car that my old man spent many hours and nights on, and a bunch of my family friends, they all grew up working on this car. There's a track champion at Nashville Fairgrounds for Jeff Green, Nicky Formosa, who his dad turned out to be a future owner and spreader of the track. Not doing too good tonight for it, but doing my best right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, we know it. We know it's definitely frustrating out there. This short track racing is very, very hard to get, under control. Guys getting loose, things like that. We've kind of said that maybe there's a gremlin out there kind of eating front bumpers right now. As I believe that, the back 6 or 8 of you guys have kind of sustained some heavy damage, including you, unfortunately. But, you are, right now, showing to me, you are up on the lead lap, so that is always a positive. But you've only got about 16 laps to go. We are, I'm happy to see you out there doing a throwback, and I hope some of these other drivers consider doing that as well. Will you actually be representing that 31 Shoney's for the race tomorrow, or is that only for the Nashville race here tonight?
That's just for tonight. I don't know about any races tomorrow night. Usually tomorrow night's my rest day, but yeah, next week I think I'll be back to the black and green car.
Alrighty, bud. Well, I hope things are able to turn around for you. If you can go ahead and time these Justice Murphy starts like some of these other guys up front, I think you might be able to get a good surge and hopefully rub the outside of that top 10 there. So, good job. Keep working there, bud.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a great night.
You too. All right, and we are back here in the booth, and Ted Wreckage is asking us to look at one of those saves. We may rotate back to that before we get talking to our podium winners here tonight. But this is boiling down, really losing a lot of time for some of these guys to make up some ground. But Justice Murphy decided not to pit and is staying back out front. So he is the guy out there with the oldest tires there as pitting on lap 71. The rest of these guys have fresher tires. A longer run for him would work out fantastic for him. As we see Negus getting a little bit loose there, rubbing the outside of Kevin Orlando there again. So hopefully Negus is able to get that 39 under control. But we're going to rotate up here to Robert Rader, who's really he's fired up into that 4th position there, kind of. Now I'm curious to see if he can get going, but man, he just isn't able to get going as we're back under caution there, bud.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can get a green flag run, how much further the Raider can really elevate his position, and if he has another set of tires. I haven't been keeping track, but I believe he's used two sets now, so he should have at least 1 set left. But I'd say he's not going to pit for the rest of the race, but Justice Murphy will need to. So still anyone's race, really, so it should be a good one.
Yeah, and we're just going to take a roll back and see what happened here. As I believe one of our normal front runners got caught up in this. And I might blame this one on iRacing, but we are going to see. Let's take another look at it here. Let's see if I can get us something a little closer. There we go. That 24 machine there of Nick Alves on the outside. Let's take a peek and see what happens. Now you see him disappear, and then he comes back. So, then all of a sudden looks like 341 comes up into him and then starts collecting. Bowden kind of kills himself there. 16 and I believe the 14, Michael Bennett. And Likens kind of got caught up in that one. Man. Really, and that may do it for Nick Alves' night here tonight as we're coming up with just about less than 10 to go. Man, it's just where to go and where to be at this point to keep this thing, you know, in the position that it is. Man, it's just starting to it's starting to pile up here, kind of. We got a lot of cautions here, and I know listening to the guys what they were saying that one season they had. You know, it was about 50 laps of cautions in the front end, and then 70 laps, you know, straight green flag racing. Now that doesn't seem to be the position these guys are racing for here tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately it's not, but it's still been really good racing throughout the field. We've seen them be door to door and be able to make it out. It's just one of those things that where you're driving in so deep and then you throw in netcode, then you also got to throw in the car getting loose, different little tire strategies and wears, then suddenly it makes sense why you expect all this sort of thing to happen on a short track. It's unfortunate, and that's one thing that I've found Nashville really capitalizes on is just how easy it is for wrecks to happen here, but still puts on good racing.
Yeah, it looks like most of these guys, Trevor Earhart is out. Likens is most likely back down pit road in the 16 machine. We'll have to see on that. Bowden is now there, and Nick Alves is down pit road. So that 24 machine, he may be having some trouble. Sean Lattin, I see you out there, bud. This is a tough race for sure. Robert Rader's got his hands full. He's behind Grant Thorpe here in the 77 machine, but he, you know, right now Robert Rader staying very consistent, always seeming to having a top 5, except for last week, which was a lot of odd engine overheat issues for that 53 machine. But really, right now, look at these guys stacking up as we are coming down to less than 10 to go. As we get back under green here, Kynan, these guys are, oh man, Grant Thorpe got a great jump and really timed that one. So this is now Justice Murphy's going to have a lot more of that $77 General machine behind him. So 2 Chevys, 3 Chevys, actually, they're up in the front. Justice Murphy and Grant Thorpe, James Loveland, Rader, and Orlando and Fords. And we are back under caution. Oh, man, I think somebody just, somebody got nervous.
Yeah, that was quite a messy restart. There was a lot of checkups happening, and they weren't able to keep it together for the remainder of the lap. Unfortunately, multiple cars involved, and even under caution, the 8 was still getting a bit of contact, so a lot going on even since before the drop of the green flag.
Man, really, and you hate to see it happen. Let's see what. You know what? Let's take a look at Blake Cook here. That's who I want to take a look at. I want to see from his perspective what in the world happened to his 4 machine. Let's take a look at that number 4 right there as we kind of see from our view here. Kind of a weird restart. Negus is up there in the 39. He's getting checked up. 29. Look out. Oh. Man, and then it just kind of keeps going. The wreck kind of happened back there. Whoa. The 4 gets turned around. And then the 8 kind of collects him there at the end. But I think it even started before that. I just saw the point where the 8 connected with the 4 kind of after everything was all said and done. I believe Bowden may be the culprit of some of that. I know, like you were saying, that was some trouble there. Let's take a look at the 83 machine now and see what happens with that. Bowden and Likens kind of get collected. 8 hits the 83. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of rubs off of him. So those guys. And then we kind of follow the 8 around. And the 8 sees a spun out car and doink. And it hits him again. So, man. A lot of
Just seemed
trouble getting going on here.
Just seemed like the wreck really started happening from the 16, even though being lapped down, racing the hardest, putting in an effort, but just came down and Bowden was there, and then they get collected.
Yeah, we're gonna try to see if anything weird happened here. I'm trying to look and see. If anything, what they were saying with Parker Johnson there. Getting in with wreckage there, but I don't... Not seeing that one. So we're coming up with 1 lap to green, so let's go ahead and get our butts back up that way and see what we have live here. So Sean Lattin out there in the chat is calling for that 53 machine for a podium finish. He needs to make one more pass for that to happen, but he's going to have to see if he can compete with another Justice Murphy restart. Oh, man, look at Justice Murphy kind of squat on that one. And really, that way you could try to switch it up from Grant Thorpe there in the 77. Kevin Orlando getting a good quick shot there from Wreckage. Wreckage taking it there 3 wide. But not only one taking it 3 wide, as it looks like Robert Rader goes ahead and slides to the inside. Holy cow. And he will have a podium finish here tonight as long as he can get off this next restart. And we are back under a caution. We had the perfect position for that, but this was a multiple issues on this one. I want to start with Ted Wreckage in that 00 machine, and let's see what transpired of this one. Let's look at that. I see 00 kind of gets caught up here.
77 was just pushing a bit too hard. Oh.
Oh, 00 back up the track. Telex Tay McDonald. All right, so there's one of them. Let's see if he rolls back down. Boy, look at him just collecting.
It's still going.
Why is he going back up the track?
Maybe throttle got hung open and then lost the gear or something.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
That's the only logical understanding on that I could make on that. Even with how it spun, it looked like maybe it just downshifted and then that's what then got some wheel hop, but very strange.
Yeah, as we get going around here, this is a ugly one, really a dice up here in the back. So let's start with this screen here. You know, you see him mashing it up, and we're going to take a look here at the 16 car and kind of watch this. He kind of runs out of places to go. Man. But really, who I want to take a look at was the 77 of Grant Thorpe. You and I both watched him getting around that turn, and then he kind of rode up the wall there a little bit, and almost got that thing mashed up. But we got to hurry up here and see what happens here. Right there. Raider takes it. Grant Thorpe bites the wall. Takes Loveland. Bang. And those two kind of keep it together. Looks like Loveland took a shot. Wreckage took that shot. But man, really, we gotta hurry up and get back on the lead lap here. As these guys are getting to get ready back underway. I'm not sure.
Oh, that was the end, I think.
Yeah, I think they actually ran out of time. I think that may have been what happened. These guys have run out of time. So that wreck
that was the final lap.
Was it?
I lost complete track of time. Wow. So that was the final lap. I had no idea. I'm sorry that we didn't pick up on that, but turns out that was the final lap.
Yeah, but this one actually looks like it finished under caution. Because these guys are actually behind the pace car here, Kynan. As I'm rolling back here for this replay here. And these guys are lined up. We're behind a pace car. And we actually finish here. That's it. Right there. So Justice Murphy, Robert Rader, and Grant Thorpe. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Orlando finishes 4th. Parker Johnson 5th. Caleb Gilbert 6th. Travis Gilbert actually got his 341 back up to the 7th position. David Stanfield did a great job, pushed his way up. We had a chat with him into the 8th position. Daryl Johnson 9th, and Blake Cook got his way up into the 10th. So that massive wreck they had earlier has seemed to cost them, a lot of these drivers, what happened there right toward the end. Holy cow. As we got a lot of the guys in the waiting room, I'm sure I'm going to hear it from them as we try to get these guys kind of caught up here and really, collected. Oh, man. But let's pull Grant Thorpe in here. Condon, I want you to talk to Grant Thorpe here. Grant Thorpe, you got a copy on us?
How's it going?
Oh, man. How's it going, bud? So talk to me. What in the world happened here tonight?
So I didn't check up quick enough during that earlier caution when I had the lead, and the pace car didn't get back by me. And by the time the pace car got by me, I was already past pit road entry, so I had lost all my track position there. So that was kind of less than ideal.
Yeah, really kind of a bummer there, but you did survive and come out in the 3rd position here tonight. I think you guys actually caught me off guard. There was no green-white checkered here tonight. Which kind of put you on the back foot to give this thing another run.
Yeah, so it was a really late call for the green-white checker there. It didn't tell us it was a green-white checker until we took the 1 to green. So we were all kind of surprised about it. In our team chat, we were talking like, is it going to be a green-white checker? Is it not? We were just trying to figure out the lap count, and we were really surprised when it was so delayed the way it was.
Well, that's why I was also confused, and I know Patrick was as well, so we weren't really sure what was happening. We completely lost track of time, but we saw that it was fairly difficult to get around. What was the car really handling like? What made it so difficult?
So it was super loose on entry and then really tight on exit, so it's kind of hard to get position on someone and be able to accelerate off the corner and stay side by side to pass them in the next corner. So you kind of had to force the person on the outside into a mistake, or try to get to the right rear and get positioned off the corner, get around that way.
Would you say that tires had really came into much of a factor tonight?
Not really, because I don't think we had a long enough green flag run to actually have a lot of tire wear. I know Justice, who won the race, I had about 25 lap fresher tires than him, and it meant nothing on those last couple laps. Had we gone maybe 10 or 15 green to finish the race, may have made a difference, but unfortunately we didn't. He ran a great race though, so I'm happy to see him get in the win column.
Yeah, well, may have only been a P3, but still a good recovery, even though you did drop back. How do you feel about going into the season finale at Phoenix next week?
I'm really excited. I've gained a lot of confidence here lately on the intermediate tracks. I've kind of been better at finding the edge of grip, which is kind of giving me a lot more speed while not actually destroying the tires, so a little less tire fall off. So Kansas had a good run, so hopefully I can finish off the season. I guess we're at Phoenix, I think, next week, so yeah. I love Phoenix, though. It's a fun track.
Well, hopefully we get to talk to you next week. But before you do go, who do you have to thank for getting you out and racing tonight?
I just want to thank my teammates. They've been a huge help. We kind of worked a lot trying to figure out the best line for this track this week. I want to give a huge shout out to Justice for getting his first Wednesday night league win. That's huge for him. He's been trying really hard, practicing a bunch, so I'm glad to see him get in the win column. And especially thank you to you guys for broadcasting this for us. You guys always do such a great job, and it's great to have you guys on board and help supporting our league.
Oh, yeah. And really a great job you did here tonight. Placing up there in the 3rd position, not as well as you did at Daytona last night that I tuned you guys into doing with you, Robert Rader, Kevin Orlando, and the group. But, man, really still a great showing, and I hope to see you actually put in the winner's circle there at Phoenix. So I hope you're able to kind of get enough practice time in there and give us another great show there.
We'll see. Rob's going to be tough to beat, but I'm going to give him a shot. We'll see what happens.
All right, man. Well, get back to partying. We'll catch up with you later.
All right, you guys have a good one.
And there you go, Kynan. Really, you do see Grant Thorpe there in that 77 machine as we got him right here in that slow-mo version, kind of getting collected up there with James Loveland. And I think just the ricochet off that wall, we did see him try his best to keep it on the wall, but I think just a little bump to the outside. And, James Loveland did get caught up in that one, but we are going to rotate to our second place finisher here, really with somebody we've talked to a lot here, and that would be Robert Rader in the 53 Chapman Environmental Services machine in that Ford. Robert, you got a copy on us, bud?
I got you.
Man, dude, all right, walk me through this one. You have been trying to run down Justice Murphy all night here, and you had him at some points, and then you just didn't, and I think, was the key to success longer green flag runs to run him down? I mean, is that really the only thing that could have done it for you tonight?
Yes. Next question.
Yeah.
No. Seriously though, it green flag runs. I mean, Justice was untouchable on the short run. He was the fastest guy here for about 10, 15 laps on the tires, and then after that, I would start running him down. And we had a couple of runs there where it was green, we were on older tires, and I had a chance to get by him. And, I'm just trying to play the points game a little bit tonight, so I'm being real cautious. And also, I think I've run Justice over at some point this year, so I didn't want to get into him. And if I could have got ahead of him, I think we would have been all right. But, just bigger picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I tuned into your all's practice, Justice Murphy was very fast during practice, so I know you guys did have the hill to climb of trying to run down his Chevrolet here tonight. I think a lot of the drivers, including you, would have liked more green flag laps. I think it would have worked out as a positive. But really looking forward, you got this one in the bag. I mean, so far, I think you've got over 5 race wins so far. And they're kind of saying you're the one to beat at Phoenix. How are you feeling about next week?
Well, I'm feeling way better now that I have to wait until we calculate all the points and everything. But I think this locked the championship for me tonight. Unfortunately, I mean, you hate to see it happen with James Loveland getting wrecked there. For the last caution and losing all the spots that he earned tonight. But I think that probably solidifies it. We'll wait and see before we celebrate. But having that pressure off for Phoenix is definitely big. And then Phoenix is a racetrack that I just really love. I've been there a bunch of times. Grew up in Arizona, and have a little something figured out there in this car too. So I expect to be really fast there, and hopefully we can win the race. All
right. Well, this is definitely a better turnout than you had at Kansas, especially with that overheat that some of those 4-star cars were running into that night. And here you are up in a podium position. Sean Lattin called it with at least 15 to go that you would have that podium position. You were hanging out in the 7th, so you got enough green flags to go ahead and keep it up there. But man, let's go ahead and get you underway to Phoenix and get you practicing. Go ahead and give me a shout out from that Chapman car.
Absolutely, got to give a big shout out to Chapman Environmental Services for sponsoring the league and sponsoring the car. And I think they're coming back next season too, which is pretty exciting. So looking forward to that. And then, of course, got to give a shout-out to you guys for the broadcast, and Sean, he's always watching and rooting me on, so I appreciate that. And I also want to make sure we give a shout-out. I mean, you're going to give a shout-out to him here in about 5 seconds anyway, but I was really happy to see Justice win this race. He's he's had some really bad luck this year, and hasn't been running really where he deserved. So I'm really happy to see Justice get this win, and we'll go on to the next one.
All right, now I'm going to trip you up. I was actually going to give a shout-out to Butt Kicker, another one of the league sponsors that you guys have here. So, caught you off guard this time, but,
That is an excellent point, yes. Yeah, Butt Kicker also sponsors the series, and they're pretty awesome. They do a lot for the sim racing community in general, so big shout-out to Butt Kicker.
All right, man, and we are excited here also to see you guys starting up season 2. It looks like it is going to be a packed season. I believe you have 23 races for that one coming up. If people are looking to sponsor a race for next season, is there any way they can get a hold of you to sponsor one of those races?
Yeah, definitely. You can contact us through any of our social media pages, which you should be able to find pretty easily just by searching Racing Revolution on Facebook. And I believe we have an Instagram as well. So you can find us there and contact us. It's $20 a race to sponsor a race, and we spend every last one of those dollars on getting us broadcasted and getting prizes for the drivers, and helps everything out. So if you could do it, get a hold of us.
All right, excellent. And as you say that, racers love racing for money and being able to put decals on the car and even, getting, the sponsors across the windshield and things like that. So, I mean, the money does not go to waste for sure. So don't forget to check out Racing Revolution at all the social media outlets you can. Robert Rader in that 53 machine. Fantastic job tonight, bud. And I'm excited to see what you can do at Phoenix.
Thanks, Patrick. Hopefully we'll be talking next week.
Yeah, bud. Mankind, and you just over and over and over again, you see Robert Rader up here in the front, placing there tonight. But you can't shout out any more of Chapman Environmental Services. I'm going to give them one shout out regardless whether you tell me to or not. Kynan, Chapman Environmental Services proudly offering broad spectrum regulatory compliance, permitting, field sampling services, and more. So not only visiting Racing Revolution, don't forget to visit ChapmanES.com for all those needs that you have. But let's go ahead, Kynan, and get this underway with Justice Murphy in that 12 machine, who unfortunately most of the time ends up on the, the kind of the crappy end of the stick here. He has good weeks, he's got bad weeks, and this time he was actually able to put it into the winner's circle here tonight. Justice Murphy, you got a copy on us, bud?
I got you, buddy.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to let you take it away on this one as, you go ahead and put this thing as your first Wednesday night league win. Go ahead and talk me through what was the secret to winning this here tonight.
Apparently just run most of it under caution, man. I thought I led the most laps, but that pace car might have got me. No, but in all reality, man, I was pretty quick last night in practice. Felt pretty good about it. Felt like I kind of found a little something, and it carried over to tonight. And spent most of the night kind of out front, little pit, people under pit strategy. Kind of shuffled me back for a minute, but got back out front and was pitted, I guess, with maybe 80 to go, and told my teammates I'm not pitting again. I've made my bed, and here it is.
Yeah, and you did pit last on lap 71. Some of these other guys did pit, I believe, on lap 107, 108, trying to see if they could switch it up a little bit. But, same thing conversation we had with Robert Rader. I think if you guys had a longer green flag run, I think you may have been on the back foot at that point. Some of these other guys at tire wear may have started setting in a little bit. We saw that from Ted Rekich earlier in the race, that, he fell off there just because of some tire issues. But really, you were able to stick this one out. I was also there with you during practice, and you were very, very fast. And I think a lot of the guys were taking a look at kind of the line you were running. I know, you were able to stay fast. Here's my question. Robert Rader was definitely trying to triangulate those turns and see if he could get underneath of you or get the run on you. What was the mindset to stay out front and, and being, calm, cool, and collected to get the win?
Tell you, I learned a lot, I guess, as I was trying to work my way back forward, kind of watching where those guys were running in 3 and 4 versus where I was running. 1 and 2, you don't have a whole lot of lane choice, because if you get down in the bumps, that is a death sentence down there. But 3 and 4, you kind of had a couple of options, and seeing where they were running. And then once I got ahead and Rob was kind of behind me trying to figure out how to get past me, I just kind of was looking in the rear view. Where's he running? Where's he gaining speed? And once I was kind of figuring that out, it was, well, let's try to mimic that and take his line away and see if we can hold him off.
Yeah, and it's a lot of mishaps here tonight, and I think I think it would have been a lot better battle seeing you guys get this underway. Would you have preferred to be here at the Nashville Fairgrounds or the larger one, that more the Speedway style?
Man, There was a time I would have said I'd like to be at the super speedway, but this place is just, in my opinion, under the right conditions, this place puts on a much better race. You can kind of get spread out on the concrete over there across town, and once you do that, everybody kind of knows how those concrete tracks run. You just rubber them up, and it's one lane. I think you have a better time trying to pass here. But they're both fun. But man, I'm partial to short track racing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I take short tracks a lot. I enjoy them more the mixing bowl style, like a Bristol sort of deal. But, I'm curious to see if you guys decide to run this track in the next gens next year. I heard those vehicles, they have a real bad problem with bottoming out. I mean, that's got to be a concern if you come up on this next season.
Yeah, I think for now we've put the track on the bench. If they can figure out how to get those cars just a little higher off the ground, which, the big thing behind those cars, right, is less downforce, more motor. But get them off the ground, make them depend on some more mechanical grip. You probably could come to places like this. But we kind of saw early in the season how the bump out of Fort Fontana was killing cars, and I can only imagine places like this where the bumps are, like going through a neighborhood speed bump.
Yeah, and another big track for that is Rockingham. I see a lot of leagues trying that out in the next gens, and it's about suicide. It does a lot of bottom end clearancing, which isn't good for any sort of tire grip. But next week we are looking at Phoenix. I won't keep you too much longer, but tell me about Phoenix. How are you feeling with that track? Robert Rader feels pretty confident on that one. I believe he even sponsored the track. How are you? And how you think you're going to stand up to that hill to climb?
Man, that's a tough one. Yeah, everybody knows Rob's good, man. The guy's got a few wins this season, but man, Phoenix is fun. It'd be interesting to see kind of the different lines through the dog leg, who cuts it, who thinks they're faster not cutting it. I know we've discussed options for next season. With the next gens, because another place, man, if you cut the dog leg, it's kind of a death sentence. They bottom out. But man, next week will be fun. I think that you will see a little mix up. I don't think it's going to just be Rob, Loveland, Grant, me, Kevin, kind of up there running. I think some of these other guys are going to have a chance because there could be some attrition there if people aren't careful through that dog leg.
Oh yeah, I figure Wreckage, Richardson, and really I think Michael Bennett. I think he may be one of those guys. But Nick Alves unfortunately kind of ate it tonight. He's out there in the 18th position. He got taken out. But we won't. We'll get into that at a later date. But man, go ahead and give me a shout out for all the people who've been watching you here tonight. Even your sponsors for that number 12 Chevy Camaro here you ran at Nashville Fairgrounds. Bud, go ahead and give them to me.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to my teammates first and foremost. Shout out to the guys, putting this thing together. Kevin and Rob do a lot of behind the scenes work that us other admin probably don't see, man. They do a ton of it. And so shout out to those guys, man. Shout out to y'all for great broadcast every week. And man, yeah, shout out my sponsors, dude. I probably own way too many of these putters, man. I'm a big time golfer, so it was one of those. I asked my painter if he could do this for me, and it was a pretty special one. But yeah, I love to get out here and put them up front every time I can.
All right, yeah, and your consistency's pretty well. You just you do get caught up in some of them, but I am so glad to see you down victory lane here today and really securing the win for this one. You have one race left of the season here, Justice, and I'm excited to see what you've got this upcoming week, bud.
Yeah, man. Thank you, buddy.
All right, take it easy. All right, everybody, and there's Justice Murphy in that 12 machine. Kynan, really, man, talk me through the end of this here. It was a great job here. I enjoy 10-4 broadcast and being able to bring this racing to you guys here and show somebody who doesn't win a lot, Kynan, it was able to put it into the winner's circle here tonight.
Yeah, and off of strategy, he was able to, even though 70 odd laps old tires, was able to hold off the ruthless assault of Robert Rader and put him in the spotlight to be like, hey, it's not just going to be a you show. I want to get a part of this. So it was a good race and win by Justice Murphy. Hopefully there's more to come for him in the future, and hopefully we get some more winners next season, and should be good next week for Phoenix for the final round of season 1 of Racing Revolution.
Oh yeah, really kind of wrap this season up. It will be next week, as you said, Kynan. But right now, we're all gonna rest, kind of take it easy, take some notes away from this track, kind of what to do, what not to do. I know the race control will be all over this race for some of those cautions. I'm sure they will straighten it out, so we will have the updates for you next week if there were any penalties or anything like that. I think right now the only penalty they have is against the track because these Xfinities didn't handle it the way that they had hoped. But from all of us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, Kynan Jones, the mastermind of this race here tonight, Patrick Morrison here with you. We hope to see you next week at Phoenix, and we, man, really, we're hoping you're going to be there because that will be the finale. But be safe and have a good night.